All right, so your subframe is all assembled and ready to go. Looks great. Yes, fantastic. What's next? Well, this stuff right here you see on the floor. That is a bunch of assorted engine parts. We bought this car. Didn't really have a complete engine. It was just a block basically sitting under the hood. My dad found a 68 350 for the old Pontiac here, but it was in pieces in a box here, there, and everywhere. So I've been working on piecing together all the parts to reassemble this. I should be picking up the engine block here this week. So I guess you could say this is a little bit of behind the scenes prep work we need to get into before we start assembling the engine. Well, let's get started by all the finished eye candy right here. Subframe completely assembled and ready to go. I've got brakes on it and everything now. I'm going to finish what goes right here, the engine. I'm going to get that assembled. So what I've been working on is laying out all the engine parts. Oil pan, exhaust manifolds, push rods, head bolts, rocker arms, etc. I found the majority of the parts, still missing some stuff. All the bolts were thrown in a single box. I'm working on sorting those out. That's fun. Let me tell you about that. I did find all the water pump bolts and even the little studs and the correct hardware that goes back in the timing cover. So that was a pretty cool find. The exhaust manifolds, I've already extracted the old studs, installed some new ones. So that's all set and ready to go. 1968 Pontiac 350 heads and 68 350 two-barrel carb. I'm going to put back on this thing. We're going to make this a two-barrel monster. These are the original heads. Now I have the other ones still getting cleaned up, get all the sludge washed out here, and then I'll media blast the whole thing once you get these things looking really sharp. That's what we're going to work on here now. Media blasting the valve covers. I plan on doing painted valve covers because this is a 350 car. But let's talk about Pontiac heads right quick. We're going to get into probably a whole separate video. These valves, they're not sunken in the head right now. I don't know if this head's ever had a valve job or not, but these valves don't have hardened seats, so to speak. What they did from the factory is when they made the head, they flame hardened the heads, which is about 10 to 20 thousandths of a hardened face on the machining here. Well, that's fine, but every time you do a valve job, you remove more material. There is a chance you could actually cut all the way through that hardened layer, and then you're going to have a problem with sinking the valves into the head, because even the lead substitute stuff, I just don't think it's as good as lead. But good luck finding that. So we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to media blast these heads, get them cleaned up. We're going to pull the valves, check the seats, and maybe we do a little home lapping here. Valve lapping. You ever heard that before? I have no idea what it is. Well, stay tuned. We'll be doing a video on just that, as long as they deem them hopefully repairable. So that'd be something we're going to get into. But for now, I've got the pieces, parts laid out. I'm going to start sandblasting or media blasting everything. I already media blasted the oil pan. It came out pretty good. Here's something else for you. Fun facts, folks. Front drain plug. That was correct, I think, up till 1969. Later years, they started putting them on the side. So I'm going to salvage this oil pan. You can see it looks a little worse for wear, but it cleaned up fine when I media blasted it. So I'll have to do some body working here on the oil pan. But I really like to use the drain plug here in the front. The downside is Pontiac has many revisions back here where the oil pan meets up to the rear main cap. As you can see, there's no hole, stamp, drilled, punch, or anything in the middle of the oil pan. You'll see some have 3 slots. I think later on they went as far as maybe 5 or 7 slots to help locate this rear seal, because it likes to walk on the oil pan. And of course, if it walks out or slides in, you got a hell of an oil leak. So that's one of the negative things I could say about this style of oil pan. But you ever notice that? You'll see different revisions and different styles. Even when you get your gasket sets, you may have more than one type of seal that goes back here on the back. But for now, I'm gonna start getting all this stuff cleaned up. I don't know about you, but just a minute, maybe 2 minutes of media blasting this thing off, that looks really good. It gets all those little spots you can't get with a wire brush or sandpaper. Cleaned out the ports here pretty decent too. So this is ready to be primed now. I'll keep going through with the rest of the parts. Now, of course, sandblasting a head only works if you degrease all that sludge out of there first. I pressure washed these real good, degreased them, and that's one reason why I think it came out as good as it did. Looks like I missed a little spot there. Chevy orange is kind of still lingering. So, but, you know, quick little touch up with a little sandblaster there, and that'll be as good as new. But look at this. Cleans up really, 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 really nice. Now, that's cast. That's going to flash rust really quickly. So I need to touch up that spot there and get a coat of some kind of primer on. And then we're going to take these heads apart, put new valve seals in it, and check the valve faces and stuff. Amongst all that fun blasting all these parts here behind you, I ran out of sand, so I guess that means I need to go on a beach vacation and go get a whole bunch more. I don't actually use sand as a coal slag. I need to go to the getting place to go get some more. But what I've done for anything that's cast, just hit it with a light coat of this. I don't normally like rattle can stuff on everything, but I think for engine parts, I think it's acceptable. Put a thin coat on, Scotch-Brite it when you're getting ready to put your final epoxy on it, but let's at least keep it from flash rusting, because humidity causes problems here on these pieces of parts. But show you what I got at least done before I ran out of sand. Our valley pan blasted clean, looks 1,000% better than intake. My gosh, that looks a million times better. All I gotta do now is just lightly scuff that, and it'll take paint real nice. Cylinder head the same way. I got that thing cleaned up pretty good. It's amazing how much this rust. It does say 17, but I tell you, it's kind of hard to make out. But the date tells me 1968, still just the same. Now, I've cleaned this out, blew it out a bunch of air. Like I said, I just got in saying we're going to pop these valves out. We're still going to do that. Valve covers came out great. We're going to go painted. Blasted the water pump. I'm thinking I'm going to reuse it. I know I'm rolling the dice, but the new ones aren't much better than that. Timing cover came out great. Distributor, I had to swap out distributors. The original one's over there, but it's broken. It just isn't going to work because where the gasket rides here on the bottom, there's a chunk missing out of it. So, fortunately, I got a junkyard of parts. I found another 350 distributor. Now, the other thing I also noticed was the push rod guide plates. One looks a little more worse for wear. Well, because it is. Because I had to swap it out. Because this one's missing a tab. Should have the 2 tabs. I'm missing one right here. So this now is garbage. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now, I still need to sandblast those items there. Started sandblasting the head bolts, and I ran out of juice. So we're going to get some more sand. All right, just in case you're wondering what I was using to blast this stuff with, was that pressure blaster that I bought when I started this project here. One of the single most best investments I've ever done. It was over $100, but I'll tell you, it was a lifesaver on the firewall. All these engine parts, I can't tell you all the stuff that I've used it with. It really cuts time down. It does a fantastic job, and I can use it outside when it doesn't make too much of a mess. I still use my little spot blaster for stuff like the bolts and stuff. That seems to work pretty nice. I've had that one forever. But I do love that pressurized blaster. But anyway, I'm working on now getting the rest of the stuff all cleaned up, and then we're going to do a video on how to inspect all these parts. Kind of touch base a little bit on the distributor and push rod guide plate, but you know, testing push rods, looking at rock rods, looking at all the pieces and make sure they're reusable, because it is a rebuilt engine, not brand new. To put everything new in one of these engines, you go broke. So you got to be able to reuse some of these parts, but make a good call on which ones you do and don't use. And I'm going to share with you my experience. Now, again, I don't know everything when it comes to engine, but I know enough to make them run, get it back together. They seem to hold up pretty good, because you know the right way, the wrong way, and then the VVG way. So that's what we're going to get into. I'm going to start assembling all these, junkyard, yard sale, used parts to make a running engine to sit right there on that little subframe, fire it up, and we're going to make this thing go here on this garage. So don't forget to subscribe, stay tuned, and I hope to catch you all next time.